Okay, today we will see about human digestive system. So just a minute, I'll open the PPT. Hope everybody can see. Yes, okay. So today is about digestive system. So first, why do we need digestion? So basic question will come. Why is that we are needing digestion? So the first one, this is a very vital process. Here, breaking down of large complex food into smaller simple nutrients like sugars, amino acid, fatty acids are being done. So first we saw about musculoskeletal system where those two systems are the very basic ones so that life can sustain and that gives the framework to the body. Then we saw about the elimination process like excretory system, then integumentary system, both by through the skin we have the sweat elimination, then through the excretory process we have this urine elimination. So only after something is being removed or destroyed we have a space for something to get formed. So that is how I have been taking this course. I have started. So first we saw the elimination. So things are gone. Digestion is something we are going to create, which is very vital, and it is going to give strength and energy, nutrients, everything for proper functioning of the musculoskeletal system. Okay, so the first one about digestion is it is going to break down the complex food material into simpler nutrients, and that nutrients the body can absorb for energy, growth, and cell repair, then involving both physical and chemical action. So physical is you are going to chew, then churn with the tongue, chew with the teeth, and chemical is you are not going to do anything, the whole body will take care of it. Like enzymes, acids are present in the body and that is going to act on the food material. Then actually, digestion starts in the mouth and it ends in small intestine, and with waste elimination through the large intestine. In the small intestine, in stomach, we have actual digestion. In small intestine, we have the absorption process. In large intestine, we have the elimination and also the water absorption process. So we will see all these things in detail. Now, what are all the major components? So, the first one is mouth, teeth, and tongue. Then we have esophagus, a long tube. Then stomach, liver, pancreas, and gallbladder. Then we have this gastrointestinal tract. So, we have two intestines, large and small. Okay. Now, the large intestine ends with anus. Then the digestive system, it is a complex network. So the digestive system has the gastrointestinal tract, a continuous tube from mouth to anus, plus the accessory organs that support digestion. So the first one we saw it is mouth, and there itself we have mechanical and chemical breakdown. So mechanical in the sense you will be chewing with your teeth. In the chemical, what is there is the saliva. The saliva is having few enzymes, so that will act on the food so that the food is being broken down using the chemicals in the saliva. Then the next one is esophagus, that is the tube which transports food to the stomach from the mouth. Then there is stomach itself, there exactly chemical breaking down of proteins happens. Then in small intestine, primary site of nutrient absorption. Then the large intestine, it absorbs water, it forms the waste and it expels it out. So in the stomach, not only protein, few carbohydrates, everything is getting broken down, but here mainly protein is given more importance. Then two types of digestion are there. It is happening together. That is mechanical and chemical. So the mechanical digestion, it is physical breakdown of food into smaller pieces without changing its chemical structure. Just you are going to chew and churn. Then chewing with teeth, churning is happening in the stomach. Then there is segmentation in the intestines. Then it is like tearing a paper into smaller pieces. The paper is still a paper, but small chunks are there. Then it is chemical digestion, enzymatic breakdown using acids and enzymes that change food's molecular structure. So the proteins will be broken down into amino acid, fats will be broken down into lipids or fatty acids, then carbohydrates into glucose, sucrose, fructose. Sorry, sucrose and fructose will be again broken down into glucose. So ultimately glucose is coming out of carbohydrates. Then stomach acid, it will work on protein. Then intestinal enzymes will split the molecules. Then this is like dissolving sugar in water. The chemical structure actually changes. Then there are 4 stages of digestion. So the first one is ingestion. Ingestion is you are going to put something inside your mouth. So food enters the mouth through eating and drinking. Then we have digestion itself. So it is mechanical and chemical breaking down of complex substance into smaller ones happening in stomach and intestine. Then we have absorption. Nutrients passes through the intestinal walls, both the intestines. Why? Because in the small intestines nutrients are absorbed, in the large intestine water is again absorbed. Okay, so absorption happens in intestinal walls. Then we have elimination that happens mainly due to the last part of large intestine, that is the fecal matter. It goes out of the body through anus. Now the entire journey, it takes from 24 to 72 hours depending upon the food consumed and individual's metabolism. So if you are going to take fresh vegetables, then raw vegetables and fresh fruits, etc., it can happen within 12 to 24 hours. So whatever you take fresh, the digestion will happen quickly. If you are going to take some refrigerated frozen foods, so the digestion will take more time. Also the non-vegetarian foods, they say the digestion time taken for digestion is little higher than the cooked vegetables and raw vegetables. Okay, then so we will see the parts one by one. So the first one is the mouth, where the digestion begins. So here mastication or chewing, the teeth, we know it will break the large particles into smaller one. It will increase the surface area for the enzymes to work. Then there are different types of teeth: incisors, canine and molars. They have an individual work to do. Then saliva production, we have salivary glands that will produce 1 to 1.5 liters of saliva every day. Then it will moisten the food. It has antimicrobial components and the chemical digestion happens due to salivary amylase. Okay. Then the tongue function. The muscular tongue, it will manipulate chewing, mixing it with saliva, and it will deduct the taste which we prefer. Then forms the food into bolus for swallowing. Okay. Then digestion, first chewing, then saliva mixes with the food to form bolus. Then the bolus travels down the esophagus to the stomach. Then the stomach releases strong acids and enzymes that break food into semi-liquid paste. Now salivary glands and the pharynx. So we have 3 salivary glands. One is parotoid, then submandibular, and then you have the sublingual. So 3 things. You just know that there are 3 salivary glands in our body. Not necessarily you must know the names. So 3 types of salivary glands are present. Each will have its own function. Then salivary amylase is what we have to know. The total saliva will have amylase. It will break down the starch. That is why when the carbohydrate broken down goes into the stomach, easy digestion happens. So primarily protein is first, or the next one is protein that is digested in the stomach. Main important digestion happens of protein in the stomach. So carbohydrates is getting digested in the mouth itself. Then so the starches into simpler sugars like maltose, then starting the chemical digestion. Then you have the pharynx, that is the throat. Here also we have three types of pharynx, but this is the passageway for both food and air. So even from the nostrils and the mouth, you have the same pharynx which is going to take the air and also the food inside. So during the swallowing, epiglottis, a flap of cartilage. So a flap of cartilage covers the trachea windpipe so that it will prevent the food entering the windpipe. So when you swallow quickly, we get this hiccups, right? So those are all because that there is no, we are not giving sufficient time for closing of the epiglottis. So eat slowly, swallow slowly. That is what is very important. Then this coordinated action has or involves 25 muscles working in precise sequence. Then we have this esophagus, which is very important. So esophagus is a long tube. Okay. So here the structure is, it is 25 centimeter muscular tube connecting pharynx to stomach. Then the what to say, the food travels into the esophagus or through the esophagus in a rhythmic contraction, that we call it as peristalsis movement. So the involuntary wave-like muscle contraction which pushes the bolus. So we saw the masticated food in the mouth turns into a bolus. When that is getting swallowed by us, then it will move inside the esophagus by wave-like muscle contraction. Then this works even against the gravity. So even if you swallow something standing upside down also, it will go inside the stomach only. Okay. Then transit time, food typically travels through the esophagus into 5 to 10 seconds. Then the sphincter is like opening, which is there in the junction. Wherever there is a junction between two organs of the digestive system, we call it a sphincter. So here lower esophageal sphincter. So it is in the end here, this place. So where there is the esophagus and the stomach meets, so that is lower esophageal sphincter. There it is getting opened, so food will enter into the stomach and it will close so that the acid will not move up. Okay. Then functions. So here we have larynx and pharynx, which is present in the throat only. So I have taken this to explain what exactly happens in these regions. So in the digestive system, pharynx, it is common muscular passage for food. We saw that earlier. It receives the bolus from the mouth and propels it to esophagus. So when it comes to respiratory system, the passage of air from nasal cavity to the larynx, because in between the nasal cavity and the larynx, we have this pharynx. So it will conducts the air, warms it and humidifies it. Then larynx, it moves up and closes during the swallowing to prevent the entry of food into lower airways. Here it opens, regulates the airflow to the trachea. So when we move into the respiratory system, we will see what are all these parts. Trachea and all will come in respiratory system. Like esophagus is allowing the food to travel into the stomach, we have trachea where it helps the air to travel through the lungs. Okay, and it produces voice and aids cough reflex. So glottis, this part is very important because when you do this pranayama, ujjayi, there we constrict this glottis only. So this part is very important. So yes, here you see this region somewhere in between this epiglottis and the subglottis. Here it is glottis. So it closes during the swallowing. Food is directed through the esophagus and not into the trachea. Then epiglottis, it folds down over the larynx, and during the swallowing to direct the food into esophagus. Okay, now about the stomach. It is just a J-shaped structure and it is an expandable organ. That is why how much ever you eat, the stomach is capable of bearing it. Yes, you eat full stomach, still the stomach will have its own space and it will accommodate. If you walk 2 times and then go and have also, it will accommodate the food. So it is an expandable organ located in the upper left abdomen. Just because I'm saying that it will accept, please don't take too much of food. You have the limited food, whatever you know what to have, how much to have. Then it can hold up to 1.5 liters of food and liquid. Then we have these 4-5 parts in the stomach. So here what happens is, in the cardia, the first part where this esophagus joins the stomach, this is cardia. This is the opening where esophagus connects. Then we have this fundus. Here it is the top portion where the gas gets stored. Then there is the whole body. Here is where the mixing and digestion actually takes place. Then we have this pyrolus, the lower section that connects to the small intestine. Then we have antrium, the lower portion of stomach that helps grind the food and regulate it into the passage. So each and every part of the stomach is doing some kind of function. So each and everything is very important to be known. Then the stomach has 4 layers, that is 4 linings are there. So you have mucosa, the innermost, then submucosa, then muscularis and serosa. So these things, just you know that there are 4 linings in the stomach. That is why easily the acid will not affect the internal organ. Mucus layer, mucus that is produced by the mucosa will compensate the acid function in the in the stomach. So here you have gastric juice production. The stomach lining contains millions of gastric glands and that secretes 2 to 3 liters of gastric juice. This is a powerful mixture of hydrochloric acid, then pepsinogen, then we have mucus. These things I just wanted to tell you because each and everything has a specific function. Here this hydrochloric acid is there to act upon the microorganisms, which is not beneficial for our body. That thing we have to note because we are going to see microbes are present in the stomach, which is very beneficial for us also. So the acid which is produced in the stomach is going to kill or destroy the extra bacteria or the it will curtail the overgrowth of beneficial and harmful bacteria. Okay, then so mucus, I told it is the stomach lining that will help us to avoid the acid damage. Then pepsin, this is the primary enzyme that breaks down the protein into smaller peptides. Then the acidic environment is essentially required for the pepsin to function effectively. Then the stomach also produces incentric factor that is necessary for vitamin B12 absorption. So even in the stomach, we have this B12 absorption substance. Okay, then food, from food to chyme. So from mouth, when it enters the esophagus, we call that as bolus. When it goes into the stomach and when there is digestion happening, the word we give for that substance is chyme. Then after 2 to 6 hours of churning and chemical breakdown in the stomach, food is transformed into semi-liquid acidic mixture called chyme. Now can you understand how or why intermittent fasting is very beneficial? Also, time given between one meal and the another must be minimum 6, maximum 8. Why? Because the churning and the digestion in the stomach requires 2 to 6 hours approximately. Okay. Then consistency and composition. Chyme has a porridge-like consistency with pH of 2 because there is acid. Acid is working on the food, so the pH becomes 2. It contains partially digested food particles, gastric juices, water and electrolytes. Then we have this controlled release which is happening in pyrolytic sphincter. So last slide we saw where the pyrolysis is, where the stomach meets with the duodenum, we have a structure. So there we have a sphincters. I already told you when two organs meet, there will be an opening. So this opening will release the chyme slowly into the duodenum. So this will help the small intestine to take some time for digestion and also absorption. The nutrient state, carbohydrates are partially broken down, proteins are fragmented into peptides and fats are largely intact. Here it is not yet being acted upon. It is waiting for the bile and pancreatic lipase to be acting on it in the small intestine. Then I told you it is sphincters. All wherever there is a passage, we have these gates. They are called gatekeepers. So upper esophageal sphincter, it is there in esophagus. Then lower one is in the junction between esophagus and the stomach. Then we have this pyrolytic. It is in between the stomach and the duodenum. Then we have ileocecal. It is between ileum and cecum. Ileum is the last part of small intestine. Cecum is the first part of large intestine. Then this will control the flow from small intestine to the large and prevents the backflow. So the sphincters are very essentially placed in each junction so that there will be only one way flow and the reverse is not allowed at all. Then anal, it is having internal and external. It is at the end of the rectum. Maintains consistency, consistence and control due for the defecation. Then the small intestine, we have three parts: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. So duodenum, the chemical center. So here it receives the bile and pancreatic enzymes. So the digestion of the fat starts here. Then jejunum, here we have the absorption. The middle portion, here there is the nutrient absorption. Then ileum, final absorption and defense mechanism happens. Here vitamin B12 is being absorbed. Then this is very important because the whole of the small intestine, how the absorption happens is because of two things, villi and microvilli. So here the villi is finger-like projections in the inner wall of small intestine. Then primarily in the center and the last portion. So in the first portion, actually in the duodenum, we have seen that bile is entering and the fat digestion is happening. So obviously in the middle and the last part, we have this villi. And then microvilli, the end portion of the villi. So here we have this, the red one is villi. Upon that we have epithelial cells which are hair-like substance which helps in absorption. Like how to say, we have this villi. Upon that if we have a brush, how it will be. So it will be like that. Villi is the major part. Upon that there will be a hair-like growth. So that is called microvilli. So it maximizes the enzymatic digestion. And then we have this liver, gallbladder and pancreas. Each one are very important. So this is the location. This is liver. Then we have the gallbladder beneath the liver. Then we have pancreas, which is behind the, behind the stomach, we can say, as for now. When you learn about diabetes, I think even more detail we will see about pancreas. Then liver, it is located in the upper right abdomen beneath the diaphragm. Function, it detoxifies blood, produces bile for fat digestion. Secretion, bile, and it also produces This word is not really important. Just I wanted to say you that liver is also producing a hormone which is involved in regulating the blood pressure. Then gallbladder, we have location beneath the liver. So this one. Then the function, it stores and concentrates the bile. It releases it into the duodenum to aid fat emulsification. Then secretion, it does not secrete hormones or enzymes, but it responds to CCK, that is cholecystokinin. So from the duodenum to release the bile. Then pancreas, we have, it is behind the stomach and it is extending from the duodenum to the spleen. Exocrine, here this has two kinds of functions. One is exocrine and another one is endocrine. So just to give you a understanding about exocrine and endocrine is, exocrine glands will produce enzymes which will be secreted or secreted through to the targeted region through a duct. So where it is secreted, where it is going to act, both will be very close by. It will travel through a duct. Duct means tube-like structure. So here gallbladder will release or pancreas will release the pancreatic juice and it will go into the duodenum, which is very close by. Okay, so this is exocrine function. Then endocrine function is, the target organ will be somewhere else in the body, but the production place will be different. For example, we have this adenotrophic hormone. So it will be produced in the brain, but it will act on the adrenaline. Okay, there is it is a bit long term. I will get type it in the WhatsApp group for your better understanding. Okay. So here exocrine function secretes digestive enzyme like amylase, lipase, trypsin into the duodenum via the pancreatic duct. Endocrine function releases hormone such as insulin, glucagon from the islets of Langerhans to regulate the blood sugar level. So pancreas is having three parts. We have head, body and tail. And in the tail region, we will have this islet of Langerhans, that is a special kind of tissue or the cells. There we have two types of cells, alpha and beta. So those two will be secreting insulin and glucagon. So when you move into the diabetic part of this TTC course, I think this will be dealt in detail for you to understand. Then we have this large intestine. Here water recycling is happening. So the large intestine is about 1.5 meter long and 6 to 7 centimeter in diameter. Though it is shorter in length, it is called large because it is having a greater width. So water absorption, it absorbs 1 to 2 liter of water daily from the remaining chyme along with the electrolytes like sodium and chloride. Then bacterial fermentation, it has or houses trillions of beneficial bacteria that ferment undigested carbohydrate and produce vitamin K and B. Then here it consolidates the waste material into the solid fecus, which is about 75% water and 25% solid matter. Then we have this temporary storage. Here it stores the fecal matter in the sigmoid colon and the rectum until elimination is convenient. So this is the part. We have ascending colon, transverse and the descending. Few of the asanas, when you learn, you will see like when you do this prone position, mostly they will start with the right leg, because so that you will activate the ascending colon. So there are certain asanas to be done like that. Then we have cecum, rectum and anus, the last part of large intestine. So rectum, first the cecum is a pouch at the junction of ileum, beginning of the large intestine in the lower right abdomen. Then function, Functions as a pouch that receives the chyme and begins the water absorption. Then we have the rectum. This is the final 15 to 20 centimeter section of large intestine. It serves as a temporary storage chamber for fecus. Then when the rectum fills, it stretches the receptors in the wall, triggers the defecation reflex, signaling the need for elimination. Then the anus is there. This is ascending. That is why in the prone position, you will be starting with the right leg. So the anal canal is finally 2 to 3 centimeter of the digestive tract. It is controlled by two sphincters. One is internal and then external. Internal is actually involuntary smooth muscle that relaxes automatically. And the external is voluntary skeletal muscle. It has the conscious control. Then these two allow us to control when we eliminate waste, delaying defecation until socially appropriate. So this is how the civilization or evolution has happened. The normal fecus, its composition, water 75%, bacteria, both living and dead, then undigested fiber, fat, dead cells and mucus. So here we have this undigested fiber, right? So this is what they talk about, two types of fibers. We have one soluble and the other one is insoluble. Insoluble fiber is what we have to take more. So mostly they will call this as roughage, and when there is most of the insoluble fiber, it will mix with the other kind of waste and the volume of the fecal will be more and the elimination process will be very easily done without any constipation. Then this complete digestive journey, we have mouth. In that the food is there 5 to 30 seconds. Mechanical breakdown, chemical breakdown happens. Then esophagus 5 to 10 seconds. Peristaltic waves where the bolus is sent to the stomach. Then we have stomach 2 to 6 hours where the digestion actually takes place, mostly of protein digestion. Then we have this small intestine 3 to 5 hours. Most digestion and absorption occurs. Then we have this large intestine, water absorption, bacterial fermentation, fecal formation and storage. Then the last one, rectum and anus, voluntary elimination of waste products. Then transit time 24 to 72 hours. We saw this already, from ingestion to elimination, varying by food type and individual metabolism. This is very important to be noted. Also, in Yoga Yajnavalkya Samhita, it is said, if you eat a food today morning, it will take approximately 27 to 28 days for full digestion and getting incorporated in the body, it seems. So if you have some problem on the 28th day, it can be due to the food that you have eaten some 28 days before also. There is a possibility. This is what they are telling in that text. Okay. So just extra information so that we can eat consciously. We can choose the food also consciously. Then this is the journey. Already we saw mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. This is how it is going to go. Then now just a short, how many of you are there in the video? Only one. Okay, fine. Okay, if you can unmute and answer also, it is fine. So what are all the two types of digestion? Anybody, please?
It is ingestion and excretion.
Absorption and assimilation.
Yes. Ingestion
No,
and
I'm
absorption.
asking you what is two types of digestion?
Chemical digestion and
Yes, mechanical and chemical
chemical.
digestion. So the second one, which organ produces bile?
Liver.
Liver. Where does the bile get stored?
Gallbladder.
Good. So Gallbladder is only storage and it concentrates it. Only the liver secretes the bile. Then where does most nutrient absorption occur?
Small
Uh,
intestine.
Small intestine, jejunum part.
Very good, super. And then what is the function of villi and microvilli?
Absorption of
Nutrition absorption. Villi is creating the space. Microvilli is the absorption of the nutritions.
Yes, actually it is increasing the surface area so that the action of chemicals on that will be more and absorption also occurs. So what are the 4 stages of digestion? Here we saw 2 types of digestion. Here 4 stages of digestion.
ingestion, absorption, assimilation, and excretion.
No, you have ingestion, digestion, absorption and
Injection, digestion, absorption, and egestion.
egestion or elimination we get.
Excretion.
So what enzyme in saliva begins the carbohydrate digestion?
Amylase.
Amylase, salivary amylase. Because we have amylase in the stomach or in the
mouth.
intestines also, so we will call it as salivary amylase. Okay, now, okay. So the next part of this will be how exactly we are made up of. What is the connection between the gut and the brain? Because the next one what we are going to see is nervous system. So first muscular skeleton, then the elimination, then the creation to how we are going to act in the world. So creation is done by digestion. How we are going to communicate with the world is happening with the nervous system. So what is the connection between this alimentary canal and the brain is what we are going to see now. So the hidden puppet master. Who are puppets here? Who is the master? Any idea?
In digestion.
No. Puppet தெரியும்ல பொம்மலாட்டம்ல அதுல வர அந்த என்ன with the strings they will move the papers, right? So who is the person holding the string and who is those paper puppets? With
Our
whom?
brain is holding the string.
Correct. But here what they are saying is even the brain is not holding the string. The microbes in the stomach is what is holding the string. And the brain is dancing according to the direction of the microbes in the body. So this is what we are going to see. What if the choices you make aren't entirely yours? So you may think you are so brilliant, intelligent, you know how to behave in the society, you know how to communicate with others, and you are so successful, all these things. But what if it's not you? So science reveals a startling truth. The trillions of microbes living inside you may be pulling the strings of your behavior, emotion, and even your personality. So now the microbial majority. We are only half humans. What they say, 50% of the cells in our body aren't human at all. They are all microbes. So if you keep a microscope near your skin or near your eyes or near your hands, you will see mostly the microbes and not your own cells. Then the bacteria, fungi, protozoa outnumber our own cells, creating a complex ecosystem within us. Then the gut-brain axis, very important one. Here, these microscopic residents, particularly in our gut, exert remarkable influence over digestion, mood regulation, memory formation, energy level, even core aspects of your personality. So here they have done a experiment in that they had a mouse in the bubble. Bubble in the sense it is an equipment which is very, very sterile in nature. That is no microbes at all. Even the air which is passed for the mice to or the mouse to breathe will be very, very sterile in nature. So in that sterile condition, they have grown a mouse. So it did not have the natural tendency what a normal mouse will have. It was very docile. It did not become more anxious, or it was not at all similar to the normal mouse what to say behavior. Then what they did is microbial transplantation. So from the normal mouse, they took the gut microbe and they transferred it to the bubble mouse, which was there in the sterile condition. So when that microbe transplantation happened, that mouse also started to behave like the normal mouse. So what they say, the microbes not only help in this gut and brain axis, it also takes the or carries the behavior of the individual. So this is very important to be noted. Then here we saw the gut-brain axis, and here also I told the microscopic residence will help in mood regulation, memory formation, etc. So for this, they say in North India, mostly in South India, we don't do, maybe we lost the tradition or we are not doing it now. But in North India, still they follow. What is that is, if you are going to any important interview or to attend some important meeting where you feel a little kind of stress and anxiety, so when you move out of the house, they will give curd and sugar, it seems. Curd is having probiotic. Sugar naturally enhances the function. So when it enters your body, it will generate beneficial microbiome in your stomach, which will act to, or it will what to say, instruct the brain to be calm, and then it will also work in a very good manner. And that signal from the stomach to the brain, it goes through the vagus nerve. Okay, that nerve, about that we will see in the nervous system. So all these things are very important. Then our gut bacteria are talking to our brain. So as for few years ago, what they are telling is brain is instructing everything inside our body. But now they are saying our stomach is instructing the brain. Because the microbes in our alimentary canal is the stomach, in large intestine, small intestine, where all these things are happening. We call it as alimentary canal or the gut. The microbes in the gut talks to the brain and asks it to function according to their wish. Okay. So transferable traits. Gut bacteria from overweight or clinically depressed humans can induce similar characteristics in the mice, suggesting microbes carry behavioral blueprints. Can you imagine this? From a human who is depressed or overweight, they are taking this microbial culture and they are transferring it into the mice. The mice also either goes to a overweight stage or it is also getting depression. Not only humans, even the mice is getting depression. Then it is a chemical messenger. It manufactures neurotransmitters, psychoactive compounds. That's what I told you, an example of curd and the sugar. And then it will directly communicate with the brain, influencing mood and cognition. Then the vagus highway, this nerve primarily serves as a communication pathway, and 80% of its signal transfer from gut to brain and not the reverse. Very important. The gut, we call it as the second brain. From there, it goes to the brain and it instructs the brain to act accordingly. That is why, if you have noted your own behavior, when you have some indigestion problem or if you had not taken proper food the previous day, the next day you will feel anxious or angry with no reason. You can feel depressed. All these things are happened. Have you ever noticed sometimes if you take spicy food, you will not get sleep. But if you are being in the hostel, every Sunday afternoon you will have a biryani, vegetable biryani along with one potato kurma. This is, I have heard like even the engineering colleges, agricultural colleges, everywhere, this is a standard one Sunday afternoon biryani will be served. But after that, you will feel so tired and you will want to sleep. When we were in the college, we thought it is because of the food. It is making us sleep. That is correct. It is because of the food. But what exactly happens is that food is very heavy for the stomach to get digested. So most of the blood circulation goes to the stomach so that the brain becomes inactive or it is tired. And in that time, if we are going to listen to the brain, it will ask us to sleep because we feel tired. If we are going to listen to the brain and go to sleep, we will become obese because after food, immediately if you sleep, metabolism is getting stopped. Metabolism in the sense digestion will not happen. Digestion will stop. Indigestion will happen. Indigestion will lead to consequences which is having a chain of reactions or chain of results, and after 10 years or 20 years you will get all kind of diseases. So after food, immediately after food or even after 3 hours of food, you must not go to sleep. You have to have a minimum gap of 2 to 3 hours for tiffin. Tiffin in the sense 2 or 3 idlis. If you have a full-fledged meal, leave at least 4 to 6 hours gap before you go to sleep. So nowadays, they go to the restaurant, they eat by 10 o'clock, they will finish their dinner by 10:30, go to sleep by 11. But they want good health to happen to them. Will that happen? Never it will happen. So very important, we have to take care of our food, sleep, in general, the lifestyle, what we are carrying with us. Then the immune consequence, when microbes misbehave, trigger immune responses that cascade to the brain and potentially causes inflammation and contributing to the depression. Here, this inflammation means not visibly seen as a swelling in the body. This inflammation happens in the cellular level. Even the brain cells can get inflamed. Not necessarily it must grow as a tumor size. It must be big, it will be visible. Immediately it will have an action on us. No, not necessary. Even the cells can become inflamed because of the misbehavior of these microbes. Why the microbes are misbehaving? Because of us. We are not taking proper kind of food. Proper microbiome is not there in the stomach. So obviously we go to this karma theory, klesha karma theory. So what happens during the digestion of junk food? Yesterday, who all have attended the webinar, you must be knowing more about this junk food and how it is happening or what it does to our system. So just a small part we will go through now. When we consume ultra processed foods like burger, instant noodle, frozen meals, then our body experiences a cascade of rapid metabolic changes that differ dramatically from the whole food digestion. So rapid breakdown, refined carbs and sugars digest extremely fat, causing sharp spikes in the blood glucose and insulin levels. Then this promotes immediate fat storage and leads to energy crashes. Then lower fiber content. So ultra processed food will have very low dietary fiber. So incomplete digestion happens, weak activation, and this satiety hormone is, what they say is, you will have a food and the brain must feel that you are full. it must say it's enough. So that hormone is not happening when you take this ultra processed food. So you will want to eat more and more. That is why if you get some chips packet and start eating, it will not stop with one. And they give advertisement saying you cannot stop with one. And you think it is very useful, beneficial, but that is very, very wrong for the body. At one stage, your brain must say, stop, enough for you. When that doesn't happen, then the food is not a good food for the body. So if you have kids at your home who are in school or colleges, please tell them about all these things, and from now on let them choose right kind of food for them, and they can also suggest for their friends. Then scientific evidence research says ultra processed food will lead to obesity, type 2 diabetes, and there is a widespread of metabolic dysfunction. So gut microbiome disruption, the junk food also damages our gut. Microbiome, trillions of bacteria living in our intestine, plays a crucial role in digestion, immunity, and even the mental health. Frequent junk food consumption will alter the system. Then reduced microbial diversity will happen. Only a certain kind of bacteria will grow, the other kind of bacteria or the fungi will die. One type of bacteria, when it overgrows, then again it will cause disease in our body. Then additive damage gut barrier. Gut barrier in the sense, barrier is something which is going to stop. Gut barrier is, so emulsifier and preservative disturb the intestinal lining, leading to increased permeability and low-grade chronic inflammation. Then systemic effort, this gut disruption triggers inflammatory cascade throughout the body, contributing to multiple chronic disease. Then the evidence, scientific evidence, that is showing increased inflammatory bowel diseases, autoimmune condition, and metabolic disorder. So metabolic consequences, we have insulin resistance leading to type 2 diabetes and obesity. Then we'll have visceral fat accumulation. Obesity will happen, especially in the stomach region, in the abdominal region, in the thigh, in the butts, the adipose tissues, or the fat storage will be more, which will in turn affect the cardiovascular health. Then we have the slowed metabolic flexibility. So it loses its ability to efficiently switch and burn the carbohydrate and fat for energy, and it will reduce the metabolic efficiency. Then the scientific evidence. So what it says, the junk foods will cause cardiovascular disease, then non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Even if you don't take alcohol, liver will become very fat. There are 4 grades in it. So if you go up to 3rd, then it will be very difficult to reverse it. Then a cluster of conditions that together dramatically raise the mortality rate. That is, the death rate will be more, or death risk will happen. Then what is the psychological effect? So dopamine hijacking, high fat, high sugar food overstimulate the dopamine pathway in the brain, creates craving, compulsive eating patterns are there. Then it will cause food addiction. Then mood instability, blood sugar spikes, create temporary energy highs, and then crashes that trigger irritability, fatigue, anxiety, and depressed mood. So there are 2 things to be noted. Most of the time, I don't know if anybody has advised you or not, but most of the time, if you have experienced some depression or anxiety or some stressful condition, at that time, our brain will say us to take some spicy food or ice cream or dark chocolate or chocolates. Has someone felt this? Also, it is funny part or dangerous part, I don't know. If you take that, immediately the mood also will shift into a good one. If you take ice cream when you are depressed, after having ice cream, the mood will get elevated. It has happened. But this is not a permanent solution. That is what we have to understand. Doing yoga, pranayama, changing the lifestyle, taking life as it is, acceptance, all these things are all the permanent one. For the immediate gratification or immediate solution, you can go for all these things, but that is not very good. Later, either you will become addictive to that or it will reverse. Even later, if you take all these things, the depression will not go. Then, cognitive impact. So, ultra processed food don't just affect the mood, they impair the brain function. What they do, memory, reduced memory, consolidation, recall performance in both short-term and long-term memory tasks. Then learning, decreased learning efficiency and neuroplasticity. Here this neuroplasticity means in the neuron, you have, neuron is the nerve cell that is there in the brain. All over the nervous system, you have neurons. So, like, do you remember in kidneys, what kind of cell we had?
Nephron.
Nephron. Yes. Likewise, in the nervous system, we have the cell called neuron. So, this neuron will be connected with each other. It will be connected with each other through their signaling. So this neuroplasticity is rewiring of the neuron. There will be a connection between one cell to the another, that is one neuron to the another. But when you do yoga or if you do some good, or if you have a good lifestyle, there will be rewiring. New neurons, new combinations or new connections will happen. That will not happen if you take too much of junk food, which means the activity of the brain is going to get reduced. Then we have mental health, clinical depression is happening, anxiety disorders, emotional dysregulation is happening. Then the scientific evidence, we have mental health disorders. Research says 20 to 50% increased risk of depression and anxiety is happening because of this junk food. So long-term health outcomes, chronic inflammation, hormonal dysfunction, then disease development, and also psychological loop that is drives craving, dopamine spikes, and it also creates more of stress. So this is just a small thing. So we are completing the digestive system with this. So one thing what I wanted to tell is, if we are going to alter the microbiome in our system, and if there is a damage in the system which cannot be reversed, nowadays what the doctors are doing is, they will take the fecal matter from a healthy individual, they will transplant it into the gut of the deceased person. What I am suggesting is, kindly please alter the food habit. Please don't go to that extreme level. I know this group is not so. I trust like our group members will have a good lifestyle, good eating habit, everything. But if you see someone else having a bad habit of eating, then not good lifestyle things, you please tell them this will what happen in the future if they are not going to take care of their body. And if they don't want that to happen, from now on they have to change. Okay. And one more thing, in each class we had an activity. So in this class, I'm not going to give an activity in the class, but we will have an experiment. What you have to do, I will meet you on Wednesday. Okay. In between that time, you will have 4 meals. Tomorrow breakfast, lunch, night dinner, and then Wednesday morning breakfast. Okay. In this 4 times meal, what you have to do is you will place whatever is to be eaten on the plate. Keep it in front of you. Look onto the food that you are having on the plate for just 30 to 60 seconds at least minimum. Just look at the food, what all you have on the plate. Then close your eyes. Take a normal breath. Then you have seen the food. Whatever is there on the food plate, you know. Just recollect all those food. Just say your gratitude to the food. Also, from where it has come. How many hands it has been transferred and it has come to your plate. Right from the plant, right from the sun. Sun's energy, plant's growth, then the farmer's work, the middleman transport, the shopkeeper is going to sell to you, you are going to buy, or someone from your home are going to buy and give it to you, you are going to cook. So thank everybody. At least say thank you everybody. That will incorporate everybody's work. Okay, just do that. Then the important part. Open your eyes. Take the food with your hands, not with the spoon. Have it in your mouth. Chew it well. Only then you will swallow. Chew it well in the sense you will chew at least for 10 to 12 times. Minimum I'm saying. 10 to 12 times you chew it and then swallow. And if you are going to do this, take only less quantity on your plate, because normal quantity if you take, you will not eat everything. You will only waste because you are chewing more. Obviously, the quantity of food that you intake will be less. Okay. So do this. Then you see, immediately don't drink water. Please give some 10 minutes gap and then you drink water. Even when you drink water, don't swallow the water immediately. Have it in your mouth. Let the saliva work on the water also. At least for 30 seconds, you have water in your mouth and then swallow. All these things you do for 4 times. And then either you post your comment in the YouTube or you come and tell me on Wednesday morning. So this is a homework. Please try and come. Okay? I will expect at least a few to answer to me. Okay? Okay, now we will end the session with a prayer. Please close your eyes. Karacharan kritam va kayajam karmajam va shravana jayanajam va manasam va paratam vihitam avihitam va sarvametat swamasva जय जय करुणाब्धि जय जय करुणाब्धि श्री महादेव शंभो. Please gently open your eyes. Thank you all. We will meet on Wednesday morning. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.